To our third session in the Marketing and Membership Mastery Training Series, Building Bridges and Leveraging Partnerships and Community Presence. My name is Lion Joshua Smith, and tonight I'm going to guide each of us through tonight's 90-minute workshop. Tonight, I hope that we can explore how clubs can collaborate effectively with local businesses, nonprofits, and maybe even some schools. We'll also discuss inclusive outreach across generations, and I'm delighted to have a short panel discussion with a couple of community partners who have worked alongside my club, the Long Island Pride Lions. So let's dive in. Here's our roadmap for tonight. First, we'll briefly recap our previous sessions and discuss why community partnerships are crucial. Then we'll discuss some proven strategies for building successful relationships, followed by our panel discussion featuring folks who've partnered with the Long Island Pride Lions, my home club. And after that, we'll have an interactive role play so you can apply what you've learned. We'll wrap up with some key resources, a final Q&A, and by the end, you'll be equipped to create or strengthen partnerships in your community. As I mentioned, we're going to do a brief recap of the two previous sessions that we've already had. So let's briefly revisit those two topics. In the first session, we focused on marketing basics and visibility. We examined how to highlight your club's unique identity to attract the right volunteers. We also talked about intergenerational marketing, personalizing your outreach, and using real success stories from your club to show prospective members the direct impact they can have. In session 2, we covered the visual branding bootcamp. We emphasized the importance of consistent branding across all platforms, whether that's social media, your club's newsletters, or even flyers that you place out into the community. We explored how combining online channels, things like email and social media, with offline outreach, think about your local press releases or even your in-person events, and how those create a well-rounded marketing approach. And finally, we spotlighted the power of storytelling and community-focused content in building a strong, relatable presence. With these foundations in place, solid marketing and the know-how to personalize marketing, we're ready to form collaborative partnerships that amplify our reach and foster inclusivity across multiple generations. Partnerships can truly multiply your club's impact. By collaborating with businesses, nonprofits, and schools, you're not only sharing resources, but you're also tapping into new networks. This means a broader reach and greater inclusivity. Working with various partners helps you connect with diverse generations and backgrounds, reinforcing your club's credibility. Essentially, partnerships are win-win situation. Your community partner benefits, and you expand your club's ability to serve the community. Win-win. When looking for potential community partners that your club can work with, you want to see where your mission and the potential community partner's mission overlap. Do you have a shared focus? Maybe it's a shared focus on youth programs or health initiatives, or maybe it's just basic community building. You need to clarify the mutual benefits. What's in it for them and what's in it for your club? Remember, we talked about having a win-win situation for your organization. And that's what we mean when we say clarify your mutual benefits. Your community partners want to engage with you, but they don't only want to engage if your club is the only one benefiting. They also want to receive some of the benefits that your club's going to get from this partnership. It's often wise to start small, maybe co-sponsoring a one-time event before moving on to more significant projects. If this is your first time partnering with an organization, it may not be the best idea to go full force into their annual fundraiser and decide that you're going to be the main sponsoring organization. While your club might be able to do that, and they may be really stable in their finances, smaller clubs or newer clubs may not be in that place. So it's often wise to start small. Consistent communication is key, whether through regular check-ins or a shared calendar. You and your community partner are working together towards the end goal. And if that's an event together, you need to be on the same page, and everybody needs to understand what their roles are and how they contribute to the overall initiative. And remember, always keep an inclusive lens. Consider the range of ages, cultures, and abilities within your community that the community partner may already be reaching out to. As we come into some community partners that my club has worked with, you'll be able to kind of see where the overlap between the organizations potentially is and where some of our community partnerships or initiatives have been spawned from. So now I'm delighted to introduce our community partner panelists for tonight. These two individuals have worked closely with the Long Island Pride Lions and are here to share firsthand experiences of collaboration. Tonight, we've planned a short discussion, about 15 or 20 minutes, and then we're going to open it up for a brief Q&A if time allows. I'd first like to welcome Tani J. Engel, the Associate Executive Director of the Long Island Crisis Center and PFY. Some of you may have heard of PFY before, formerly known as Pride for Youth. PFY still serves youth, but they also serve many ages of adults as well. And our second panelist tonight is Lion Jason Schaefer from Northwell Health Expressions. Northwell Health Expressions is an employee resource group that supports the LGBT plus communities within Northwell and their allies. I also, as I mentioned, that both Tani and Jason are both Lions, so they are here with shared family, and they are here to kind of talk about their own organization's experience. Tani and Jason, I want to thank you both for joining us. I'm going to
Thank you for having us, by the way.
Of course, we're so happy that you could be here.
Delighted to be here as well, both as a Lion and a representative of Northwell.
To guide our conversation, we're going to talk about a few key areas that we're going to explore tonight. What motivated our community partners to partner with our Lions Club, the Long Island Pride Lions, initially? What successes or highlights they have seen from their community partnership? If they had any challenges or surprises along the way and how they address those? And what advice that they have for other clubs looking to form similar collaborations, either with these organizations or maybe some community partners within your own community. So as I mentioned, I'm going to start with Tani. Tani, could you share what drew the Long Island Crisis Center and PFY to first partner with the Long Island Pride Lions?
Absolutely. Let me know if I'm lagging at all, because I'm sitting as close to my router as possible, but I'm hoping that there's no issues. But yes, so once again, my name is Tani Engel, and I use she, her, hers pronouns. And this is my dog Ava. She's in the background. She will not walk away. She has to be on screen, so she's there. But yeah, thank you once again, for having me here tonight to represent Long Island Crisis Center and PFY. So I think, what initially motivated us. So PFY is our LGBTQ division of Long Island Crisis Center. And we've been around for 33 years, and we're a health and human services organization working with the LGBTQ community for youth, but we're not a youth agency anymore. So we now go by PFY. And we really, when the Pride Line, when I first heard that the Pride Lines, I do like development and fundraising with the organization. And so, I'm kind of the quote unquote, I guess, PR person out in the community, and always representing the work that we're doing, and fundraising. That's a big part of what I do, and getting the word out about what we do. So when I first heard that the Pride Lions were starting this organization, I was really excited. I think it's a really great way for us to, create awareness about what we do as an organization, but it's not just both ways. It's about creating awareness about what each side does, right? What the Pride Lions do, and also what we do. So, for us, it was a sense of community. It was a sense of getting the word out into the community. Like I said, we've been around for 33 years, but there's still a lot of people out there that don't know who we are. So this is a really good way to bring everybody together this is what the Pride Lions are all about, and this is what they want to do, right? Is to uplift, organizations and services, and let people know out there that these services are available. So yeah, that was really kind of our motivation in getting involved. And yeah, I would say the biggest thing is sense of community.
Thank you, Tani. And so, Long Island Crisis Center and PFY embraced the Long Island Pride Lions because they saw the overlap of our mission in terms of community and building a stronger community. So, Jason, I ask you the same question. what initiated kind of the first engagement between Northwell Health Expressions employee resource group and the Long Island Pride Lions?
Yeah. Let me speak a little bit more broadly first. Northwell is the largest hospital system in New York, and part of their mandate as a not-for-profit hospital system is to build relationships with community-based organizations. They have a whole arm that's devoted to social responsibility and cultivating relationships with community based organizations to kind of expand their reach and ensure like a healthy community. So that is kind of just built into Northwell's mission. But another part of Northwell's mission is to create a inclusive environment of belonging amongst their employees. And so they have these groups called BERGs, Business Employee Resource Groups, which kind of provide opportunities for employees to get together for similar affinities and purposes. The one that I'm part of is called Expressions, which is specifically geared toward the LGBTQ community. Though there are other Bergs at Northwell too, for veterans, for organ trans. So if you're listening to me right now and you hear, oh wow, like my Lions group does a lot with the environment or something like that, you might want to link up with Northwell's employee resource group for the environment. So Joshua, had mentioned earlier, kind of like mission alignment and creating win-win. So we immediately saw amazing overlap between what Expressions tries to do to try to cultivate a sense of community amongst the LGBTQ community, being the largest hospital system, not just in New York, but also on Long Island, and also the Long Island Pride Lions, which is also trying to create a sense of community and address the needs of the LGBTQ community. So that is kind of the mission alignment was what initially drew Expressions to cultivate this partnership with the Long Island Pride Lions.
We found a commonality between, a couple organizations. And so, Jason, I would like to start with you or anything that you would like to highlight about maybe was it a found moment that's happened so far. Our organizations haven't had a ton of tenure together, but has there been any successes that you've seen or maybe that some other folks from Northwell have commented on?
Yeah, I think my favorite success personally, and also one I hear people talk about quite a bit, is our toy drive. Well, it was toy and essentials drive that we do every year now. I think we've done it 2 years. I think, yeah, 2 years together, where we throw a holiday party together, and it gives an opportunity for the Long Island Pride Lions and the Expressionsburg members to come together to meet, to mingle, and also to increase their impact. Because this was something that the Expressionsburg and the Lions were kind of doing separately, trying to raise toys and goods for a not-for-profit organization. And together we could sort of increase our impact. We mutually promoted it, and we just created one big and better event that was even more successful and increased the impact for a local organization that serves people in need. So we've collaborated in other things too. Like we had a comedy club fundraiser that we worked together on. And we've also had the opportunity to sort of cross promote each other's events, which again expands their reach and serves our common mission. But I've been most a fan of just our ability to come together each year to celebrate in each other's company, to build relationships together, and also to just do a huge good for the community in terms of raising toys and essentials and food for people in need around that time.
Absolutely. So thank you for talking about some of those things that you've seen as successes. And Tanya, I pose the same question to you. Have you noticed any successes since PFY or the Long Island Crisis Center has partnered with this specialty Lions club that we're talking about right now?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like Jason said, the cross promotion is, just kind of an overarching, like, idea of what, what we've seen, all these successes overall. Cross promotion of events is huge. That is a big one. Because like he said, then you're both benefiting from that, right? You're both getting, more of a reach. And definitely, just in general, just the meeting of like Jason said, the like-minded, mission aligned organizations. It's not always easy to find folks out there that really, you are kind of overlapping in terms of your missions and what you're trying to do in the community. But that said, it's also a really great way to tap into other resources that are available, right? Like, Northwell is fantastic, and they're the largest hospital system on Long Island. And they do what they do in terms of providing the medical services. PFY does what we do as a community-based organization, but we all have kind of our own areas of expertise. And so it's really good to be able to come together and meet other people, like at the monthly meetings or at the events, or, just to tap into other resources and areas of expertise that maybe we didn't know existed in our communities. So we kind of know that we have those folks to reach out to when we need to refer out, or that kind of thing. So that to me is a really big area of success. The toy drive absolutely is awesome. And it's a lot of fun every year. Again, just I think the fundraising aspect is huge for us, especially, like for an organization like PFY. We're a very small grassroots kind of organization. So, to get the attention, the support, just to let people know out there in the community who we are, and to have a group like the Pride Lions kind of put their stamp of approval on us and say, yeah, this is a great organization, and we would love to see you donate to their cause. That's a big deal for us, and um, the other thing that we, as I said before, we really like the idea of uplifting each other's work. And so last year for Pride Month, for our annual gala, we honored the Pride Lions group as our honoree at our annual fundraiser gala for Pride Month in June. And that was really exciting for us, just to be able to, again, highlight what they're doing as a group. And yeah, so again, making it a two-way street, that's big to me.
So, both of our community partners, both Tawny and Jason, have shared about how great stuff has been and how we've been able to both cross promote each other, but also expand each other's reach or visibility, increase it on both sides. But it's not always perfect. And so, Tawny or Jason, whoever would like to go first, or whoever's comfortable, has there been any challenges, or have there been any lessons that you've learned with partnering with another community-based organization?
I would say so. I think that the collaboration between, the Pride Lions and the Expressions it's so natural, of course, because I happen to be a lion and in the Expressions Berg. But I think building these types of relationships can be kind of a lot of work, and it can be difficult to coordinate because you're trying to coordinate activities between one organization and another. So I do remember one time, like the Lions were creating a flyer, and I wanted to make sure we had like the Expressions logo on that flyer, but we ended up using like the wrong logo essentially. And then by that time, we had already distributed the flyer. So that was kind of a misstep. A lesson learned, sometimes I need to make sure I know everything I need first before we start promoting. But as I said, like sometimes coordinating the activities of two different organizations can be challenging. And so I think the challenges that you overcome do involve a lot of times when it comes to like finding someone who's willing to do the legwork or willing to put in the passion of cultivating this ongoing relationship. And I think one thing that I think a lot of organizations always struggle with sometimes is just the engagement of members themselves, like people who are like willing and ready to take on these types of projects. So but as I said, like this relationship between Northwell Expressions and the Pride Alliance. I think it's new and we continue to learn, but over time, I think it's just getting stronger and stronger. So it's the lessons we learn. We're learning how to collaborate better with Alliance.
Thanks, Jason. And Tony, is there anything that you'd like to add?
I think the biggest, I mean, honestly, there's not much that I have to complain about or anything. I think the biggest thing is just, in our region, the Pride Lions covers all of Long Island, and it's a pretty big region. And so, who knows, down the line, maybe there'll be room to branch off, but we have Suffolk County and Nassau County, so we're spreading across two different counties. And I think it's challenging with the monthly meetings, just kind of the traveling to get there. Our meetings are held in the evenings, and a lot of this is unique to our organization, and again, we're a very small grassroots organization, but our programming takes place in the evenings, so a lot of times our staff is not really available to attend. I'm usually the one that does attend to represent, but I can't always be there. So, and I always, and I feel bad because I don't want to miss the meetings. I like being a part of them, and I think it's a great way to network. And but for us, it's challenging sometimes to have representation at those monthly meetings. So I really think that, but that's just a challenge on our end, and I think that's it's kind of the only thing, honestly.
Great. So, both of our community partners have kind of shared some of their successes they've seen, but also some of the challenges or the lessons that come with two community partners trying to work together, trying to collaborate, trying to make an impact. We're all constrained by schedules and resources and really just our personal lives. Outside of being lions, we are humans that function and all of this. And so I hope that hearing some of the successes and some of the challenges, it's helped some of our participants tonight start thinking about, oh my gosh, there's this organization that we could potentially reach out to in our community, or maybe they want to partner with either one of your organizations, whether they be local to Long Island or they kind of be somewhere. We have lines from all over the world joining us tonight, so this reach for both of your organizations is moving past just Long Island tonight, at least the visibility of them. And so I guess just to kind of wrap up our conversations tonight would be, and Tani, I guess we can start with you since you finished the last question, but do you have any tips for clubs or that might want to be partnering or might be thinking about partnering with a community organization? Any tips that they should keep in mind as they start that kind of relationship?
Yeah, I was actually just thinking it as I was talking before about the, missing the meetings and, not always being able to be there physically. I think it's important to stay connected continually, even if you can't have representation at the meetings. Like, I always try to reach out and, let the board know that, maybe we can't be there, but, we're still involved. We're still here. We still want to. So, just maintaining that communication, I think, is always very, very important. um, Creating spaces to, once again, uplift each other's work and make it a two-way street. Highlight what each organization is doing, sharing each other's events on social media. Just and communicating, just seeing what it is that we can do to kind of benefit one another, I think is the biggest thing. And and again, it's for our organization, we're very, very small, so it tends to just kind of be me doing that. But but yeah, that's the biggest thing to me as far as what kind of comes to mind.
Thank you. And Jason, do you have any tips that folks should keep in mind or things that how they can start building this relationship within their local communities?
Yeah. And speaking from the perspective of like kind of someone who's an employee resource group, I'm thinking that this may be kind of an untapped resource for a lot of Lions clubs who are looking for people who like want to be engaged in volunteerism and service. That a lot of these employers do try to promote these affinity groups, these groups that want to connect with the community. So I wonder if, just sort of looking within your membership, like where do people work? Do they have the groups like this? and even beyond that, of course, like onto your network um, at large, you know, always, being willing to like set up these conversations, have, um, it can't hurt to kind of ask, just kind of as I said, like a lot of these companies aren't just about whatever it is they do. Like, Northwell isn't just about providing patient care, but we also, do so much more in terms of community outreach and supporting employees and empowering them for volunteerism. I think a lot of companies very much emphasize social responsibility. So if organizations are trying to empower their team members, their employees to give back to the community, this could be very much an opportunity for collaboration, uh, and very much in line with the mission of the Lions.
Agree with both of you. I think that, it's something that clubs have to think about because we have our own type of culture within our own Lions Club and we have our own way of doing things. And when we start venturing out with other community partners, they also have their own way of doing things. And so now what we're trying to do is mesh those together. So I appreciate you both for sharing that information and for those structured questions. I think we have about 5 minutes now of our panelist time to get some questions. So if anybody would like to put something in the chat or if you would like to unmute yourselves and ask a question, please feel free. We've got about 5 minutes. I just want to be cognizant of our panelist time because they're joining us tonight. So if anybody would like to ask a question, I'll monitor the chat or you can feel free to unmute yourselves. And if we don't have any questions, we can just keep on going too. Not an issue either way. It looks like one of our participants gave us a little note. Our club looked into a relationship with our local transportation organization to help with our fall food drive. They got props for helping us collect food and we gained access to their media network. That's a win-win situation right there. And I'm sorry I don't know your name, but KR, thank you for sharing that with the group and talking about another way that Lines could benefit from partnering with a community organization. Just want to again thank Line Jason and Line Tawny for being here, being able to join us and kind of share their perspectives about their organizations and what they did to partner with one type of specialty club, and hopefully it started to generate some ideas for yourselves. I can't just do a full lecture for an hour. I mean, I could. I work in education and I could definitely talk to y'all for an hour and a half, but that's not pretty fun. And that's not my presentation style. So you can kind of see what's on my screen at this point. What we're actually going to do is an interactive role-playing participation. So now all of you have a chance to practice what we've been discussing. We'll do a quick role-playing activity where you're going to think about a potential community partner that your club could work with and do a pitch or a hypothetical pitch to that organization. Maybe it's a local school, maybe it's a senior center, or even a small business. As I mentioned, I'm sure that some of you already have an organization in mind. Local libraries are great organizations to partner with. Local hospitals, all kinds of different stuff. So this is your opportunity to practice things in real time. So before we get into it, we'll break the room up into some groups so that way you're not working alone and that way you can talk in your group through some of these pitches. Focus on value. So why is this partnership appealing? Remember, we talked about that win-win situation. You're going to want to discuss the role play, the roles and responsibilities in the timeline. So who's responsible for what? How will your club collaborate with this community organization? You'll have about 10 minutes in your group to kind of talk through maybe what your pitches are. There's about 4 or 5 people in each group, so it should give everybody a couple minutes to just maybe talk through how they would even start this conversation. After that 10 minutes is up, I'll give you a little bit of a note in the breakout room, and then I'll ask everyone to come back to the main room, and maybe we'll have some brave folks who would want to give their pitch. We have about 5 minutes, so hopefully we have about 2 people who'd be willing to share, and other folks in the group would be willing to give some feedback on kind of what they hear in the pitch, or maybe some benefits or what they can add to it. Back, everybody should be coming back. How was that? We got a chance to talk to some people. You got a chance to listen to somebody other than my voice. I hope you enjoyed their voice. Did we have some good conversations?
You did.
Good, good. So we're now to that part where I need some brave lions who might be willing to share their pitch. So would anybody like to be the brave one that goes first?
All see me? I'm not sure how this works.
Yep.
We see you.
Okay. I'm a New Mexico lion, live in a small rural town outside of our only city in New Mexico, which is Albuquerque. Uh, we are working with the local school district to try to get them to join with us to create what we call the Life Cycle Leo Alliance program. Currently, we're reestablishing our Leos Club, and I've got the superintendent involved to come to the meetings and sort of see what we're doing. Once we've successfully got that up engaged, then we're going to establish a Cubs Club, and while at the same time working to get the district staff to become a Lions Club. He's interested because I gave him the pitch that he would be the only school district in America that would have a life cycle Lions program. And school districts like that. And I also read their website and I found out what the district goals and objectives were. And I put those into my pitch with him. And now he and I have a semi-good working relationship. Unfortunately, the town I live in is at war with the school district. So I'm trying to be a mediator between the two by doing this.
Wow, what a great idea, KR. I appreciate you sharing that with us, Lion KR. Finding some way to first branch out into the school, but then not only expanding it one way, but expanding it in both different ways for the generations, I think was incredible. And if anybody was heard that little nugget of information, Lion KR went onto the school district's website to look through what their goals were and align those goals with what was in his club or his pitch. It's a win-win situation. He provided the validity of the win-win for both the school district superintendent as well as his club about this is a good partnership. This does make sense. Thank you for sharing that with us. Hey, would anybody like to give any more feedback on Lion KR's pitch?
I think it's a great idea.
Beautiful.
We're full of good ideas in New Mexico.
That's
We
right.
just don't have any people to do them with.
I know. Well, think of all those parents in those schools. They could all help.
Exactly. That's my recruiting plan. All the parents of the Leos will become Lions. They don't know it yet, but
Yeah.
I'm very
That's okay.
persistent.
Yep.
Good.
Love
All
it.
right. Do we have another brave lion that might be willing to share kind of what their pitch might be?
Well, I was just talking about when I was zone chair, I went to the clubs and I was ignorant as far as what they really all, I mean, I know what we did at our club, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, when I went to one of the clubs, they told me that one of their very successful, not fundraising, but community service thing they do is on Earth Day, they go to the elementary schools and they have partnered with the Arbor Day Foundation and they get little saplings and they make a little presentation and the kids take them home and they plant them and whatever. So I was thinking of the flip end instead of just working with the school. Well, working with the schools it is just it's a great venue for anything that you really want to do because there are just so many parents and so many kids. But instead of just doing it with the schools and stuff, to maybe reach out to the Arbor Day Foundation and say how they might like to expand their reach and stuff for people and educate people and who knows? For the
Michelle.
environment, right? They're doing something
Absolutely.
wonderful for the environment.
And if folks will notice, both of these pitches were talking about Lions focus areas. One was youth, the other one is environment. If you're able to find other organizations that are already focusing on some of the Lions International focus areas, we get to feed two birds with one seed. Not only are we checking a box within Lionism, we're also finding a community partner that we can now, maybe potentially, if it's a great initial partnership, you can have a sustainable year over year partnership and it becomes a signature event for your club.
Right.
Or you encourage other community orgs to engage in this maybe singular event and that even expands that reach.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have any additional ideas for Lion Michelle about their pitch?
I've been working in the Merrick community and working with the Merrick Chamber of Commerce. I have attended their meetings. The idea is to get more involved, like Josh said, in community organizations and civil organizations. The idea is to get the word out, like Josh had says, who are the Lions and what do we do? People have heard about the Lions, and when I asked them, do you know what the Lions do? They don't know. So it's basically also I've been working with the Freeport Merrick Rotary on a conservation project in Brookside Preserve, uh, which is located in Freeport and Baldwin, cleaning up. For the past couple of months, I've been participating in that cleanup. Also, trying to get the county to take care of the preserve which they own. And at the same time, I put material on the table in front of Brookside Preserve about the
Mhm.
lions, that we help people in various communities and around the world in different ways. And
As Lion Sir Michael said, right, there are a multitude of ideas that he just gave all of us sitting here in the meeting. There was not just one singular avenue or one singular approach that Lion Sir Michael is being able to take. He's utilizing so many different community organizations. His club is partnering with other community organizations, both in their town and in separate towns, to expand their reach. So I just want to kind of quickly recap and highlight some things that we've heard and some things that we have learned now about how we're building or ways that we can build these community partnerships. So it's really important that you emphasize the mutual benefits that your club and whatever community partner that you have are going to have. The more you are able to show how both sides win, the more buy-in you're going to get from this community partner. You need to make sure that you have clear goals and responsibilities to avoid confusion between your club and this new organization. And you need to make sure that you're using inclusive language that resonates with the different ages, cultures, and backgrounds. Oftentimes, these community organizations aren't just serving one type of person. They have a reach in the community, and that community is made up of so many different people. And so it's important that when we're using language about reach out or when we're using tactics in our marketing, we need to make sure that we're not utilizing jargon or dated language that may not be inclusive or may exclude some folks. And you're going to want to make sure that you're maintaining that ongoing communication. Your community partner is a relationship that you're building. Think of it as when I was taking piano lessons, my piano teacher always said you have to water your dog every day because if you don't, it's gonna pass away on you. And so essentially your relationship with your community partner is like watering your dog. Your dog can't survive or your animal can't survive if we're not providing it with food and water. Your community partner relationship isn't going to survive if you're not reaching out. Hey, how are you doing? Hey, how are things? We've got this coming up. Would you like to partner? That ongoing communication is what keeps that partnership strong. So while that exercise was short, I really do hope that it gave you a sense of how to structure a quick, impactful pitch because all of the information that you want to talk about and share is already up here. You just got to have a way to formulate it and get it out so it makes sense for your community partner. So I want to show you all just a potential partnership proposal template that you can adapt for your club. I've tried to go through and maybe just list out 7 bullet points that I think when you give a pitch in a written form are really important to share with your community partner. So right off the bat is your initiative title or your event title, the name of your event or your program. Call it something. Come up with a fun name. Next, make sure that you're clear with your purpose and objectives. You've got to communicate what it is that you're trying to achieve with your club and this potential community partner. Who are the partners that are going to be involved? So if it's just one other person, it's you partnering with one other community partner. But if you're looking to bring in multiple, it's important that your community partners know who they're also going to be working with. Some community organizations are unable to work together or may have some pre-existing tension where they're not able to co-sponsor or collaborate on an event with your group. And it's important to share that information so that way there's not a surprise down the road. Make sure you're talking about your roles and responsibilities. What are you going to do, the club? What is the community partner being expected to do? Are you asking them to share your stuff on social media? Are you asking them to attend the event? Are you asking somebody to attend committee meetings as you prepare for this event? Make sure that that's clear and that's communicated, because that helps you minimize your misunderstandings between both your club and the community partner. Also, if you've got a timeline, so you know that your event's in September, think about what all needs to happen beforehand. Maybe you won't have everything fully finalized out right in the beginning, but maybe you do know that over the next 6 months, we're going to have at least one meeting a month, and you could share that information. Key dates and big milestones in that event coordination and preparation are going to be really important. It helps keep everyone accountable, but it also keeps everybody moving forward. Also, talk about the resources or the budget that you need. If you are expecting your community partner to put some money up for the event, you need to be clear about that, because they need to know what they're getting themselves into. If you need volunteers, if you need materials, share what you need. Your club likely has a lot of this stuff, but your community partner may be able to meet you halfway with some of it. We don't have to reinvent the wheel when we partner with other orgs. We already know what we're trying to do. So we just got to find a way to make the two puzzle pieces fit together. And something that's really important is to measure your success or your metrics. I think it's always really important to take some data. You need to know how many people are attending your event. You need to know how much, if it's a fundraiser, you need to have a goal and how much money you hope to raise. There's all types of ways that you can measure success without it being positive or negative. We got one new member to join the club from this event. If that's your measure of success for your club for that event, fantastic. But make sure you're defining whatever your success metrics are going to be, because again, it needs to be a win-win situation. You need to find some benefit that your club will have by partnering with this community organization. Here are some next steps that you can do now. I challenge all of you to reach out to at least one potential partner within the next 30 days. I will be sure to send out the slide deck so you can see, but use the template on the previous slide to guide your conversation. If you don't want to write it out and you just want to have that list as a bullet as you start talking through some of this stuff, so it helps you stay focused in your conversation, or it helps you kind of just get your thoughts together, feel free. All of this is for Lions to better themselves, so I hope that you use some of these resources. I challenge you to share your pitch at your next club meeting or your next committee meeting and get feedback. Encourage your club that maybe we should partner on our next event with a community org. And maybe you do the same exercise that we did together as a club. Maybe you break your club up into small groups and you have them come up with a pitch for an idea that they want to have. Event ideas can turn into partnership ideas. It just takes somebody connecting the dot, or somebody saying, we could do this Arbor Day event with a local park. Maybe it's like Lion Michelle said, it's with the school that they reached out to. All it takes is an idea generation for new initiatives to start spawning. With ideas, Lions with great ideas can help lead the new connection. As we mentioned, you've got people who are very smart and are experts in their own area. Let them flex that expertise muscle and let them help you connect your club to other community orgs. And again, I want to challenge you all to attend our next session on April 16th, which is about engaging events. Next session together will focus on planning impactful events to attract members of all ages and showcase your club service. We're going to be highlighting successful District 20K2 events, things like vision screenings and food drives. We're going to be integrating member referral programs to help maximize your club. And we're just going to be talking about how your club, through their events, can turn those into open houses to potentially garner some new membership. So I promised I would keep this short for all of you and not be too lectury. And so thank you all for being such an engaged audience. I have about 20 minutes left in tonight's session, which is left for a Q&A. So I encourage you all to feel free to unmute yourselves. You can drop your questions in the chat. But we have some time together where we can share and we can talk and we can process through some of this. Like I said, I'll be here for at least the next 20 minutes, and I'll be happy to stay on. But that we've come to kind of the end of our presentation. And I just want to thank you all for being here, and thank you all for really engaging with me today.